I was thinking about one simple question. Why do we choose the friends that we have? Welcome back, everybody, to the Detour Podcast. I hope you are all having a wonderful week, and thank you so much for joining me again this week. I have quite a bit to talk about, actually. I have to pull things up on my phone and my laptop just because my notes isn't syncing to my laptop. But, excuse me. But yes, I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, a wonderful last week, and you're ready to have a wonderful week. Again, I do have some things to talk about from my previous week. The most obvious one is the hair. Yes, I did get highlights in my hair. I thought, why not? I mean, it's fun to do something nice with your hair every once in a while, right? Like back when I had the perm around a year ago, that was fun. It was interesting. Probably will never go back to the perm, but now I get why like girls like to curl their hair, or when they straighten it, or when they dye it. Like, it's kind of fun because you feel like a new person, a different person. So it's interesting. Yeah, I was able to get my hair dyed a couple of days ago. So I've only had it for like 3 days. So it's kind of hard to adjust because like when I got out of the shower today, it was so dark, and I was like, did it wash away some of the color? And I don't know if it does, like, or not, because I'd never really dyed my hair, but it came out very dark. And then as it dried, I'm like, okay, it's just the brown in my hair being dark because of the water. But whatever. So I've dyed hair. I recently had game night with some friends. Tanner came over, Liz, my sister Emma, and Liz and Emma's friend Allison. That's Liz's best friend. They came over, we played board games and stuff here. It's actually really fun to host people in my apartment, because when I moved out for the first time and lived with my sister and Liz, nobody wanted to come over. And we hosted some like holiday events, but nobody really ever seemed to want to come over and hang out. And that's the freaking case now. I don't get it. Like, especially my family. No one in my family ever wants to come and visit. That's how they react. So it was nice to have some people come over, and I might host that again because I think it was fun, and maybe invite a bunch of different friends and some friends that couldn't make it, invite them and see if they're able to make it. Let's see what else I have on this list. Sorry, I have to make a list. My memory isn't the best when recalling things, especially like when people ask me, oh, what did you do over the weekend or whatever? I don't remember. Even if I did something really fun, I don't remember what I did over the weekend. So I have to note it down to keep it there so I could talk about it. I got a mountain bike, and I'm getting it all set up so I can bike the Jordan River Trail. So it's not necessarily an off-road trail, but it is, how long is it actually? Okay, Jordan River Trail. So it is 45 to 49 miles long. So it runs from the Utah Lake to the Great Salt Lake in the area up north. So my dad and I are going to do that, where we'll probably drop one car off at one end, drop one off at the other, or we'll probably see if we can schedule someone to drop us off and pick us up. But yeah, we'll start at most likely the north end. We'll probably start at the Great Salt Lake, but I'm not too sure. But we're basically going to plan it where we start early in the morning and we get it done in one day. I think that'd be fun. A nice little physical challenge. I've never really done anything like that, and just to think about like feeling accomplished, why not? Also, on the physical challenge aspect, I am preparing to hike Mount Timpanogos here in Utah as well. It's supposed to be, from what I've heard, people say it's a 6-hour one. Let's see, Mount Timpanogos. Let's see, how long does it take to hike Timp? All right, 6 to 10 hours round trip on average. Depends heavily on your physical fitness, pacing, and which of the 2 main trails you choose to reach the nearly 12,000 foot summit. At the end of September, next month, near the end of next month, I will be hiking Temp as well with my dad, and that'll be fun. So let's see. There's 2 different trails. One's the Timpanogos Trail, which is 14.5 miles round trip, 43,000 feet of elevation gain. It's more gradual and a popular choice for first timers, or the Aspen Grove, which is 13.5 miles round trip, 4,800 feet of elevation gain. It is shorter in distance, but steeper and physically more strenuous. So I don't know, but most people start at midnight because by the time you get up there, you could see the sunrise, and that's kind of like the whole point of it. So I'm preparing for that as well. So we might do both of those within the same month. Who knows? Or maybe, I don't know. We still have all of August, so we probably can get it done this month as well for the biking. But it'd be pretty cool just to do either one. So I'm doing both of those. If you guys like physical stuff like that, hiking, whatever, let me know. Especially if you're from Utah, what's your favorite hiking trails or whatnot? I grew up hiking, but I don't remember where we went. And then it kind of got to a point where I just hung out with friends, played video games, did whatever, and I just didn't care about hiking. And now I'm kind of back, I need to get back in the outdoors. So yeah, if you guys are from Utah and you have a favorite hiking trail, let me know. I would definitely love to hike it and let you know my thoughts on it. And then the last thing I actually have on this list is something about Mr. Arlow. Poor Arlow. Last Sunday, we found out that he has a tooth that is decayed almost. It's whatever. So he has to get it removed on the 18th of this month. So we're going to get his blood stuff done today, actually, on Monday. And then the next Tuesday, he will get his tooth taken out. So poor buddy, but it will make him a bit happier because he prioritizes the left side of his mouth because the right one's got the tooth on it. But hey, we'll be twinners. I think it's the second back molar. And I'm missing mine because my dad and I were wrestling one time and it got rough and we hit each other in the face pretty hard during the thing. And I mean, we don't know what else because our teeth are healthy and the dentists say you have great teeth. Yeah, we both lost a tooth at that point. I think we both hit a nerve in some angle or something like that, and it killed the tooth, and we both had to get one removed. But yeah, so me and Arlo will be twinning, which is good stuff. That's really all I had for the weekly catch-up. So, I mean, yeah, don't really have much else to say about that. Just trying to be more physical, enjoy some of the weather. I haven't done much this summer. It's been too blistering hot, and once it cools down, I'm going to sneeze. Once it cools down, it'll be easier for hiking and excuse me, be easier for hiking, easier to do all that stuff. My phone just thought, excuse me, was Siri, but I'm not talking to you. So we will go to the word of the week this week. I decided, excuse me, instead of it being let's try to use it as much as we can and make it blah, 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 right? Obviously, we'll try to use it. But I think I'm just going to introduce the word of the week, and then we'll be left up to our own devices to whether or not we want to use it often. But I'm choosing ones that I feel like are kind of, what's how I'm trying to say this? They're easier to remember and to say, and to potentially use in a sentence, right? So last week's was easier than the week before. This week, the word is opia. It's a noun. It is the striking intensity of direct eye contact, which feels both intimate and unsettling. And to be completely honest, I struggle with opia a lot. Actually, how do you pronounce that? Because it sounds like I'm saying opioids or something. Opia. Let's see. How to pronounce. Boom. Opia. Yeah, opia. So I struggle with that a lot. I can't hold eye contact in a conversation. It makes me like uncomfortable and nervous. I don't know. So opia, the striking intensity of direct eye contact, which feels both intimate and unsettling. So try to use that in a sentence, maybe even if it's to yourself, and be like, wow, I really struggle like with opia, with the fact that eye contact is just so intimate and unsettling. Maybe that's not the right way to use it. Let's get a sentence. How to use opia in a sentence. The heavy opia between them made it hard to look away. All right, let's see. How to use an opia in a sentence with yourself. Let's see if we could do that. To use a noun, a sentence with, okay. All right, let's just do about myself because it's saying with the word yourself. I feel a sudden, okay, so treat it as a noun you can feel experience or share during direct eye contact. Trying to hold his gaze, I become uncomfortably aware of the opia passing between us. I usually avoid long stares because I'm not a fan of the intense opia it creates. I can't hold eye contact because of the opia. I felt a sudden rush of opia when our eyes met across the room. Okay, so yeah, you could just basically say like, I really can't hold eye contact because of the opia it gives off. Something like that. It creates. So I hope you guys can try to use that word, expand our horizons with vocabulary, because our brain stagnates, and as long as we try to do things to keep ourselves learning and growing and becoming better each and every day, we'll become, again, better each and every single day. Quickly, before I hop on to the hot take of this week, I have been continuing practicing guitar. I've noticed it's gotten a little bit easier, but nothing too dramatic. Just like all it is muscle memory. I'm pretty sure I said this last week. I did get a surprise gift from Liz. She got me a guitar strap. It's a beautiful blue one, like a blue raspberry sucker one with some like embroidery on it. Pretty cool. So now I can play it standing up because I hate sitting down because I just feel like it's not in the right position for me to rest my arm and everything. But when I stand up, it's better. Yes, that is it before we move on to the hot take. So let's get on to the hot take for today. And let me know what you guys think about this hot take and whether you think it is. Oh, not a hot take, sorry. Well, that's true, yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the Am I the A-hole for the week. My mind is all over the place. I just have had a weird weekend and had like a slow Saturday night to Sunday morning. And my mind is just aloof. All right, hot take. Let me know if you agree or not. Either way, I think diet soda isn't any better than normal soda, and it tastes way worse. So people who claim that, I'm drinking diet soda and I can still enjoy soda, but it's better for me. It's not much better for you, in my opinion. I don't think it's much better for you, and it tastes so much worse. You're sacrificing the flavor of a drink to drink it more often when you could just have self-control and drink soda. So that is my spicy hot take for this week. It's just because everyone in my life drinks Diet Coke or Diet Dr. Pepper, and I've tried it and it's just vile. I hate the way it tastes. Now, the Am I the A-hole for the week. Let me actually check. I forgot to set a timer. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Again, camera cuts off at 30 minutes, so I just want to make sure I'm not talking and then it just stops recording. Am I the a-hole for being upset that my wife forgot to tell me the wedding dress code? Let's get right into this. My wife was a bridesmaid in one of her close friends' weddings this weekend. She had been involved in the planning for months with dress fittings, rehearsals, group chats, and everything else. I was not involved at all. I figured if there's anything important I needed to know, she would let me know. I got dressed in what I thought was appropriate and we headed to the wedding. But as soon as we got there, I realized something was wrong. Every single man there was wearing a black tuxedo with a bow tie. Not just the groom and groomsmen, every male guest. I was the only guy in a regular suit. I felt totally out of place. A couple of people joked that I must have missed the memo. They probably did not mean anything by it, but it was still embarrassing. I stood out like a sore thumb. Yeah, I would be definitely embarrassed too. I get it, she could probably, because if she's, let's see, was the bridesmaid. Yeah, it was a bridesmaid. I don't know. If it was maid of honor, I would understand if you forgot to tell because you were also so super busy helping the bride with everything, as you know, the maid of honor will do. But as a bridesmaid, it's just like, there's no way you shouldn't have told him if there's like a dress code for it, you know? All right, let's see. I asked my wife if she knew everyone was supposed to be in tuxedos. She said, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. I was busy helping with wedding prep." That honestly made me feel even worse. She had known about the dress code for a long time because she was in the bridal party and had been talking to the bride the whole time. If she had mentioned it, I would have rented a tux. Instead, I spent the whole night feeling self-conscious. When we got home, I told her I was upset. She said I was making a big deal out of nothing because nobody cared what I was wearing and I should just laugh it off. I told her it was not really about the tux. It was about the fact that she knew I did not, and she never thought to tell me. It would have taken 5 seconds to mention it and would have saved me from feeling embarrassed. Now she thinks I'm overreacting. But I feel like my frustration is justified. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not. It is her responsibility to inform you anything that happens about the wedding, especially if she's part of the bridal party. And it's not your fault for feeling that way because you have the right to feel embarrassed. I mean, if I was there, I'd probably feel out of place too. But then at that point, it's just like, it is what it is. I'll probably never see anybody there again. Brain's moving faster than my mouth can. But again, you're very valid in feeling embarrassed about that. So getting upset with her, and you even told her it wasn't even about not wearing the tux, right? Or not having a tux. Is the fact that she knew a crucial detail to the wedding. It took almost no effort to inform you about that. She neglected to, and then you had to go the night embarrassed. And I get people could view, oh, you're only embarrassed and that's your fault that you're embarrassed, but it's also her fault to put him in a position where he could be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he's the a-hole. Now, actually, there's an edit, so there was an update on this. A lot of people have asked why I didn't check the invitation or ask about the dress code. That's a fair question. I assumed my wife would have mentioned something out of the ordinary since she was a part of the bridal party and knew all the details. I didn't think much of it because every wedding I've been to before, a suit was perfectly appropriate. I take responsibility for not checking the invitation myself. My frustration isn't that I think it was entirely my wife's responsibility. It's that she knew every man was expected to wear a tux, knew I didn't know, and simply forgot to mention. If the roles were reversed and I knew something about that would have left her feeling out of place all evening, I would like to think I would have mentioned it to her. If she had mentioned it to me, I would have rented a tux without hesitation. I get it. Again, you can check stuff like that, but it is a very unique scenario because not a lot of people have, everybody has to wear a black tuxedo to my wedding. It's just dress up, like just show up and wear a suit and tie or a button-up shirt, like just show up dressing nice to my wedding, right? So I don't blame him for not checking it because it's like, is he supposed to have a hunch or an inkling that he should check it just to make sure he's wearing the right thing? Or because he's been to weddings in the past, assuming like, hey, it's just going to be a suit. Like I'm just going to show up in what I would normally wear to a wedding just to get there and it not be right, you know? So I get it. Good on you for not trying to make it your wife's fault entirely. But at the same time, how are you even supposed to know really that you're supposed to wear a tux, right? If you get the invitation, but your wife's a part of the party, you're like, you know what? Like, I'm going along this with her. This is more about her and her friends than it is about me. So if there's anything I need to know other than show up on time and wear a suit, she'll tell me. I think he's more inclined to feel that way because I would too. If my girlfriend invited me to a wedding of one of her friends or family, I wouldn't really care too much about the invitation because I'd expect her to tell me everything that's going on when it comes to what I should know in terms of, oh, okay, yeah, it's not going to be a normal wedding. Everyone's in tuxes. Perfect. But that's not the case. So I don't think you are the a-hole. I don't necessarily think your wife is an a-hole either. I just think maybe the way you guys view some things is a little different. Maybe she just didn't see it as too much of a problem. And she didn't think like, oh, maybe I should tell him because if he is out of place and he gets embarrassed, like I wouldn't want him to feel that way. Maybe she just wasn't even thinking about that. Because I sometimes do that where I just am like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't even thinking that way. I'm sorry that you're embarrassed, right? But at the same time, it's like, that is kind of out of the ordinary. So I feel like you need to mention anything out of the ordinary to your partner, spouse, your date, whatever. So let me know what you guys think about that. Again, I don't think you're an a-hole. It is what it is, right? Now, as I was having friends over, let me check the time again. Sorry, we're looking at 20 minutes. Alrighty. As I was having friends over for game night, I was thinking about one simple question. Why do we choose the friends that we have, right? Like what attracts us to the people that we make friends? Because there's some people we'll hang out with and a lot of people say, I think you guys will be good friends. But then when you get with them, you just don't feel like you're vibing, right? And that's a huge thing, whether or not you kind of have like the connection going on. So I was kind of curious because when I'm looking back at my friends, my best friend Tate, like I don't even remember how we became friends in high school. We just kind of became friends in high school. Trent, I kind of remember how we became friends. We talked a bit more after high school ended, and then we went on a trip, and then from then we just became really good friends and started doing a lot. Plus everyone was on their missions, so it's kind of easier to become close friends with them because all of our friends were gone. And then Tanner, it's kind of funny because with me and him, I didn't even realize that he went to the same high school I did. He was just a year older, and he was friends with all my friends I was with senior year, like my close friends senior year. So then when I met him when I worked at Vasa, once we found out we had mutual friends, like we kind of talked, blah, 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 blah. And then he invited me to some movies that they all went to. Because then as time went on, we just weren't as close. Like I wasn't as close with my high school friends. Well, now we're, good buddies. So just interesting how we make the friends we make. And I kind of wanted to go into that and seeing like what kind of goes through our heads in a generalized sense. You know what I'm saying? So we choose our friends based on a mix of convenience, shared traits, and emotional connection. Proximity brings people together, while mutual values, chemistry, and the need for support drive us to build deeper bonds. Well, Tanner lives about a 25-minute drive away, so I wouldn't say that's necessarily proximity, but I do get what you're saying. It makes it easier to become friends with somebody who lives closer to you. Let's see. Let's dive into the proximity and opportunity of it. We have the daily life paths. We befriend people we often see, like neighbors, coworkers, or gym members, which is fair because we were coworkers. Easy access. Being close by makes spending time together simple and natural. I agree. And I think that's why a lot of our friends from high school and schools were easier to be friends with, because you'd find the ones that are like closer to have sleepovers with and hang out all the time, We got similarity and values. We got matchmaking worldviews. We gravitate toward people who share our beliefs, culture, and background. Reflecting identity. Friends often mirror our social habits, goals, and ways of thinking. That is kind of true. Tanner and I, Tanner's the best example because he's the one I hang out with frequently, and he's a newer friend that I can recall, but it's been like 3 years or something since we became friends. But let's see. We like anime, so it's really easy to connect on that. We like Star Wars, Marvel, and all that kind of stuff, so it's easy to connect on movies. And we love video games, so it's easy to connect on that stuff. And it's just interesting because regardless of like what makes us different, I don't feel like that really defines us because, we come together on what we do like. Like, for instance, I'm not huge, like the only watch I wear is my Garmin. I'm not huge into watches and stuff like that. He's more into watches and stuff. I like having one simple fragrance of cologne. He likes trying a bunch of different kinds and collecting them and whatnot, right? So it's just like the differences of that. But at the same time, we have similar like outdoor interests. So I feel like it brings us closer because a lot of the big things that we like to do are very similar, if not the same. So I do agree with that. They reflect our social habits, goals and ways of living. I think it's a little different. I mean, he's going to pilot school and I'm doing podcasts for free. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't care about the money when it comes to it. But yeah, we're both doing kind of different things, but I think we're both passionate in what we do, which makes it fun. We got chemistry and comfort next. Instant click. Smooth conversation, shared humor, and easy nonverbal cues create a strong spark. Agreed. Safe space. We choose people who make us feel heard, accepted, and safe from judgment. Yeah, I do feel like that with Tanner. We talk about just about everything all the time, and it's I don't know. It's really good to have a close friend like that. And when like Tate and I or Trent and I would hang out quite frequently before marriage and everything happened and life just kind of got away from us all, we were the exact same way, right? So you kind of have to have people that make you feel accepted, but also you got to accept them as well. And the last one it says is psychological and social needs. Mutual support. Friendship often works on reciprocity. Reciprocity? I don't know how to say that. Where both people offer help and value. Agreed. Like I just said. And then the last one it says is personal growth. We sometimes seek out traits that balance our own and push us to do better. That is true. Because when I see my friends doing better, it makes me not like I'm envious or jealous in a way of like, I'm spiteful and I hate them and I don't want them to be better than me. But I'm like, what am I doing holding myself back from being, as successful as I view them? You know what I'm saying? So, interesting. I think let's actually kind of touch on I think we talked about how friendships change as we get older, but I kind of want to touch on that again because it is interesting how you could be close with somebody, but then all of a sudden it's just not working out, you know what I'm saying? So let's see what this brings up. It's not bringing up anything. That's great. All right. Oh, it's loading. All right. Shifting priorities, cognitive aging, lifestyle changes, and the natural drop in free time. So yeah, not really too much to go into there. It's kind of self-explanatory. Careers, moving, family, anything like that can change it. And again, shifting priorities. If you don't view hanging out with friends as a priority and you view it more as you want to spend more time with your family, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I think it's just very interesting that we make friends the way we do. We make the certain kinds of friends that we have, especially when you think about when you started talking and how you became friends. It's just very interesting how you meet people and how the connection happens and how it builds and grows over time, and then you become close with a lot of different people that you never knew. And a lot of people, like especially as kids, the safest place is home, is family, right? And then the second safest place is the friends you've known forever, friends that you hang out with all the time, that you're comfortable being yourself around. That's the second most comfortable thing. So when you're making friends with people that you know, because I feel like school's such an easy way to make friends. You see them every day. But when you make friends with people you don't see all the time, and you don't like all that stuff like school, right? It's just so interesting how, okay, well, I'm not with people I know, my family. I'm not with friends that I've known for a while to make new friends. I'm by myself. I'm talking to this person I don't know. We're actually clicking and becoming good friends. Well, and here we are. Now we're really good friends and we hang out all the time and we do stuff together like we've known each other our whole lives. So it's just really interesting the connection that we make as people and how important that connection also is. We need connection. So I think it's a really good thing to have one or two close friends. I mean, if you have a bunch of friends, great, but at least one or two close friends to have that emotional, human connection that we all need to really survive. And that's really all it says right here about why do we choose the friends we have. Maybe we all have different reasons for it, but I think that's just kind of like psychologically, it kind of gives us a rundown of all the major things that go into our decision making. Yeah, that's really all I had about the question of the week. And then to finish off this episode, the topic of the week, sorry. To finish off this episode, I wanted to spark some brain thinking, some debate, some curiosity, because reading all the comments about people, the timeline or the different time periods that people wanted to travel to if they could travel to any, was very interesting because I'm just like, I wonder why they're choosing that. But everyone's was so different than mine, especially mine. But like, it was just so different, and it was so cool to see, because then it made me feel like, okay, I'm understanding, you guys a bit better and whatnot. This one kind of does the same thing. It causes you to think, and it almost makes you question, like, well, why does that person want, X, Y, and Z? So the question of the week is this. If you could know the truth about one unsolved mystery, what would it be? I know for a fact there'll be some mysteries I have never heard of that people will say, but that's great, because then I'll look into it more and it expands my knowledge, just as, responses expand yours. Mine, I think, is the lost city of Atlantis. I think that would be, whether to find out where it is or whether it's true or not, you know what I'm saying? Because some people spark the debate that it just doesn't actually exist and it's just urban legend. And then there's people who say that there's scientific evidence to back up that Atlantis once did exist, and maybe it's here, maybe it's not. Like, I would like to know if the lost city of Atlantis actually existed, and if so, like, where is it? What happened to it? Kind of all the juicy tidbits. Because why not? It seems like it's one of those ones where there's just enough to try and sink your teeth into, and makes you very interested, and you start to debate, but not enough to really know the full answer, because as time goes on, things get buried literally, and you can't ever find them again, especially because it was said to be near water. So if it got sank and then buried, that's also harder to find. So the lost city of Atlantis. And that's really all I had for this week. It's a little bit shorter. I'm still trying to work on the smooth transition between everything, but just a quick recap for this episode to kind of get you thinking throughout the week. You try to use opia in a sentence, whether it's to yourself, talking about somebody else. Just use it once. Just spit it out there. Think about the word. Anything in regards to the word, do it, to just try to expand your vocabulary, get your brain working, the juices flowing. Tell me if you think diet soda is better and tastes better than normal soda, or if you agree with me that it isn't better and it tastes worse. And then, if you could know the truth about one unsolved mystery, what would it be? I like to hear what you guys have to say about this stuff, especially hot takes. When I hear hot takes and people agree with me, or people disagree, or people say, or people don't necessarily be like, you're a freaking idiot, but they're like, you need to try homemade, like last week, I think it was ranch, right? You need to try homemade ranch, or that was 2 weeks ago. Try homemade ranch. I was like, okay, so they're not hating on me, but they're like, homemade ranch could change your mind, right? I just love hearing that, because it really does get the debate going. So, yep, keep those in mind as you go throughout the rest of your week, and just try to grow yourself 1% at a time. I want to be better. I know you guys can be better. We're all living on this world, and whether you believe in God or not, I feel like we were given the opportunity to be here. And I know I believe in God, so I just want to say that I'm thankful to Him for giving me the opportunity to live the life I'm living, to be on this beautiful planet that we have, despite all the negativity. But there's so much positivity to focus on as well, to be able to have the opportunity to create whatever I want to create. Same with you guys, be as artistic as you want, have jobs, relationships, opportunities, like obviously have pets. It's just one of those things of, I'm just grateful for everything I have, and I want to not squander the potential and the time that I have on this planet, and really just do what I feel like is the best for me. Right? Just like I want you guys to do what is best for you. Always be trying to learn, to grow, to better yourself. Don't think that you're never going to make it anywhere. I actually was thinking that I don't know why, but I thought that I should stop podcasting, because I'm like, it's not going anywhere. Sometimes I'm just not feeling the motivation to get it done, or the inspiration to get it done. But the people who succeed aren't the ones who quit when they feel like they're not going anywhere, or they don't have the motivation. They're the ones that push through. So regardless, I'm just going to keep doing it because I love it. And I just need to not care so much about where I'm not yet, but focus on where I can be. And I know everybody that's watching this can definitely succeed in whatever they want to succeed in. I believe in every single one of you, and that's my little motivational spiel for the end of this. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode. I'm going to try and post shorts again. It's been a mental struggle last week, but we all go through that. If you're listening to it on Spotify, please give whatever rating you believe is suitable for this podcast. I believe we're a 5-star podcast. However, whatever is suitable, because ratings do actually help. And from what I've heard is it helps push the podcast out. And then when new people see it, they see the multiple ratings, and they're more likely to give it a go. And then you're here listening with everybody else and enjoying this beautiful Monday morning with me. And if you're watching or listening on YouTube, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss another episode or shorts that go. I try to post weekly on YouTube for shorts, TikTok, and Instagram. And I just truly appreciate all the support that I get from every one of you, despite negative answers and people not agreeing with my hot takes or whatever. I appreciate it, because if people care enough to argue or push their opinion on something, then it shows that whatever I'm doing is making at some point an impact on them to make them feel like they have to respond. You know what I'm saying? So that's really all I have for this week. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy the weather while it's still here. Look forward to fall, because I'm stoked for fall, and I will catch you in the next one. Much love.